You're listening to Ernestly Speaking, the only weekly podcast that covers friends, foes, and anything that goes. And now, for your badass host, Ernest Owens. Hello, everyone. This is going to be a very, very special episode of Ernestly Speaking. This week has been a lot, but you know what? We're here and we have a lot of tea to unpack. You all have been sending me stuff. Listen, I have been seeing everything and reading everything. The tea is hot over here. I actually brought a beautiful cup of tea with me. Because we have a lot to talk about. And, I'm just so happy that I do my podcast like in the middle of the week, because sometimes people want me to do them a little bit earlier, but I'm like, listen, there's stuff coming, right when I'm like, oh, what are we going to talk about? And then all of a sudden, so, I try to make these episodes as timely as I can. But, news is always breaking. But I first want to start off by, getting into some softer things. Well, not even softer things, but stuff that, what's going on with me. So my wedding is paid off. That stimmy came through for people who know what a stimmy is, the stimulus. I found out that I think I qualified this time around because they were looking at my finances clearly from the previous years or the taxes before my, promotions and stuff kicked in and would have pushed me out of it. So I was kind of biting my nails like, do I still, and I made it, y'all. So my stimmy with Mr. Johnson's theory, stimmy, we made it through. We're now, the wedding is paid for. Goes for folks who've been listening to this podcast. You know that I was always edging close, but we finally made it. So now, I'm just doing the little things now. I'm going to do some flowers and all that kind of stuff. But the venue, the food, the drinks, the whole spectacular, the security, all that, it's covered. It's paid for. We took care of it. And, just shout out to the folks who just really did not think this could get done. Because I was not going to take out a loan, as you all know. I don't believe in taking out a loan for a wedding, because we're trying to get to a place of coming into the marriage in a place of good financial health and security, because people start going into debt behind weddings. I mean, listen, I love my wedding party, but my wedding party loved me enough that I shouldn't have to put myself in debt to impress anybody. It is our special day. This is something that we wanted. And this extravaganza, which is what it basically is, if we're going to spend, if this is going to be an epic wedding, then we got to save epically. We got to finance epically. And I don't regret doing it because folks was like, oh, that's money you could have spent on a house. Well, guess what? Houses are going to be here. Weddings, epic weddings, memories of a lifetime like this isn't. So this is something we wanted to do. This is something we put our we hustled for. And, it was just great. And I think it also was a good activity to see us as a couple be able to save for big things, because now we've figured out habits and patterns, and now we can do that for other things. I don't know if I'll buy a house or whatever, but whatever I want to do, I know that we have built a challenge for ourselves to do that and really stick to our guns and make it happen. So the fact that I can say that literally 7 months before the wedding, it's already covered. And so people come to my wedding, it is a wedding, it's official. There will be food, there'll be whatever. Y'all know where the venue was at for those who, are coming. It's done, y'all. So all y'all gotta do is bring your asses here. But we've already reserved the seats, and, at this point, we're good. So it's gonna be a good time. I'm super excited. I'm very happy about it. I know people are excited about the stimulus. Some people out here cutting up over these stimmies, y'all. Okay, I heard about the 4 people who got shot. Okay, because somebody wanted to split the $1,400. People out here shooting people. Come on, people. Come on, my people. Like, we can't. We come on. Put the guns down, people. Seriously, put the guns down. Especially in Philadelphia right now. It's just too much going on with gun violence in Philly, and it's just been a ruckus. Before I get into the hot tea and everything, because I know what I know what your messy asses are here for. See, you saw the title, and you're like, I want to know the tea. Listen, we're going to talk about that, but I want to talk about some other things before we get into it. Because once I get in it, I'm going all the way in. But I want to take some time to talk about some other pressing news issues. So people ask me about my electricity bill. My electricity bill was $17 last month. I don't know. Well, I do know. People ask me how did that happen, and I've been joking on Facebook about it. And I just want to tell people that this is a very green house. No, there are no solar panels. We haven't done anything really crazy except we just turned the motherfucking lights off. Like right now, as I do this podcast, the lights are off. The laptop's the only thing that's on, and my mic. We light candles here, and it's not that I'm being facetious and sarcastic by saying that we light candles, but you all know I love candles, and so I've really been taking it up a notch with lighting candles. I'm big on the windows, brightening up the house. I love natural light. I'm a natural light queen. I love candlelight, but like the whole, keeping the lights on all the time. I mean, first of all, our electricity bill has been very low anyway. It's been under $50 for several months now. But like, I really don't, I'm just very, I don't know. I just, the only thing I use around the house, I don't keep plugs plugged in. I don't keep things plugged in unless I have to charge things. I'm very big on that. I'm very big on, also, let me just put full disclaimer. I don't have a TV, so that might be part of the situation. Because I know that TVs are electricity drainers. I don't have a TV. I don't have a microwave. It's 1950 over here. No, I'm joking. We cook. What else? We really keep the lights off. And the only thing we have going are our laptops. We light candles. We just, I think that's just what it is. But I was just startled, and, I've been making a point to be resourceful across the board. I'm very green. I try to be as green as I can. I do recycle. I just been like that for a minute. And I think part of it is because I just have found economic benefit to being green. And I just think people should do it. I think that, it's just something that's not as hard as people may think it is. Like, I love carrying my big denim satchel. I don't really take paper bags or plastic bags as much. I've realized that I love just putting stuff in my personal bag. I hate carrying clunks of bags and stuff. And I don't go grocery shopping anymore. So I think that's been part of it. So when Amazon sends me those brown bags, I recycle those brown bags when I get them. And I also reuse them for different things. So I don't know. I think that just in general, I've just been thinking more and more about the environment and climate change and stuff of that nature. I know that one way to be really good with climate change is cutting your meat intake. And, I love a steak, y'all. And I need to, but I will say this. I have been mindful about sustainable eating. I don't eat meat all the time. I know y'all see some of the pictures of the lamb and the steak, but I pick at this point, I do some meatless days. I do some meatless days. I do 3 out of 7 days I don't really do meat. And so I have been mindful about that. And I think these are ways, not just about carving electricity bill, but just how to implement ways to cut back on carbon and fossil fuels. Okay, so enough of green thumb Ernest, but just saying. Okay, so Johnson & Johnson, you all. People are getting the Johnson & Johnson vaccinations. I am here for it. I'm seeing people out here really getting this. I haven't gotten, I'm fully vaccinated, but people I know have been getting the Johnson & Johnson. They say they one shot and they're done. They're over. People are hype about it, y'all. The Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium, they're doing Johnson & Johnson now. And people are really loving that because, like I said, before, I think I talked about this in the last episode, was that this is like a one and done situation for some people. So some people are like, look, I don't got time all day to keep going and making schedules. I need to get that one quick hit and I need to go. And this is for people that are scared of needles and just don't, have that time to do too, So listen, by all means, these vaccinations are speeding up. Biden last week, talked about how it's going to go down, y'all. Like July 4th, Independence Day, he's saying people will be really up to speed, as far as vaccination and herd immunity and all that. And he's saying that, people will be fully, people will have access to the vaccination, adults, by May. I mean, he is really setting the tone. It's looking like things are moving along really fast. And I'm just seeing so many people get vaccinated each week. And it seems like it's going. But I wrote a piece in Philadelphia Magazine this week that I just made a confession. And I'm like, these are my confessions, y'all. Like, I made a confession about how this whole pandemic, I kind of, the social life I had before the pandemic And what I've learned in this past year, I've realized I don't want to return back to the way my social life was. I'm not talking about my personal life. I love my personal life, like clearly, but just the way that I did things socially and events and all of that. Like, I'm not saying I don't want to. I'm not going to be social. I'm not going to be a hermit, and I wasn't even a hermit in the pandemic. I think for me, it was just thinking about like, why was I going out to like 4 or 5 events a week? Like, what was going on? Like, I think the hustle, the need to be out and about, because I was getting invited, and part of it was like, yo, I'm getting free food and drinks and yada yada yada. But like, I was working myself like a mule, and now that the pandemic has happened, it's put me in a place of getting a level of comfort. Like, I have enjoyed, wearing sweatpants, which I never used to be into until the pandemic. Like, I was never a sweatpants person. But shout out to American Eagle, y'all. And this is not an advertisement, but like, they have a really great men's wear line and a very good leisure wear line. And I think women love their clothes, like Aerie and the other brand. But the American Eagle, like, their men's wear is some of the best stuff. Okay. And this is not the American Eagle you remember in your childhood where there were like logos everywhere. But real rap, a lot of the clothes you see me wear, they're 9 times out of 10, I'm having a piece of American Eagle. Like, all of my jeans come from American Eagle. I only wear American Eagle jeans because they have the air flex, like, flexibility in them and the elasticity. I mean, it's just good. It's just a good cut. They have good cut jeans in various sizes and trends, and that's my stuff, y'all. I have American Eagle points where I get discount. I love American Eagle. And the way they've made their clothes. Some people's like, American Eagle, like, are we going back to Abercrombie and Hollister stuff? Listen, I'm not talking about those other brands. I'm talking about American Eagle has evolved, y'all. Like, go on their website and look at their clothes. I'm seriously not plugging. I'm just saying the clothes on there is very classic, modern, chic, simple. And a lot of the clothes that I wear, like a lot of the stuff I wear is from there. It's nowhere else. I just don't know any other, like, simple basics, classics, simple stuff. Everything, all of my clothes come from there. I'm so simple when it comes to stuff like that. Like, some people are like, oh, they got one place for everything. I'm very much a simple man. Like, I get all of my shoes from Aldo. I get all of my, like general wear clothes from American Eagle. I'm buying all of my groceries from Whole Foods now. I've become such a very, like, simple person. But I think part of it is because of my hectic, busy, like, professional life, which I'm not complaining about. Let's be clear. But it's just like, I'm in a space where I don't have time to overthink simple things anymore. Like, if we're going to a restaurant, let's make the reservation. I do not like to do the whole, oh, do you know where we're going? I don't know where we're going. Where are we going? I don't know. It's boom, bam, boom. I'm always a budget queen. I love a good budget. So I'm always using discount codes. I'm always using my CVS. I get all of my pharmaceutical stuff, all of my toiletries from CVS. I get all of my food from Whole Foods, and then I cheat sometimes and go to Rite Aid if Rite Aid has a good sale on some things I need. But I'm simple. I just don't scurry around. And I think that having these levels of, like, simplicity in my life and just these simple things that are my flow has made, like, my general life that I need to focus my energy on more sustainable. And that is something I learned during the pandemic is how to declutter my mental, planning and organizing of things in my life. How to make things more simplistic. Like, I'm committed to not going back to the grocery store at this point. Because when I would go to the grocery store and people would see my tall black ass, right? They would racially profile me. Even at the stupidest stores, at the stupidest places, I would get racially profiled. And I'm like, I'm too grown, I'm too tired, I'm too balling, I'm too brilliant to be dealing with shit like that. You talking to a kid. You can't come to me, asking me, sir, what are you doing here? I'm sorry, I'm here to buy yogurt. What the fuck do you think I'm doing here? So it's just, it's stuff like that. I remember, pre-pandemic that is not going to happen post-pandemic. And I know people are like, it's a damn shame, Ernest, that you got to deal with racism and can't go to the grocery store. It's not that either. But quite frankly, going to the grocery store has become less sexy to me personally because I listen, I'm on Amazon Prime, y'all, and I know Amazon got their issues, but I'm on Amazon Prime. I see Whole Foods. I have my own. It's so hilarious now. I write my own grocery store list, right? Note to myself, and then I go online and I shop and buy the shit, and it's hilarious. I love it. And then my people come to the door. They come straight to the door, y'all. Like right to the door. It's crazy. Like I don't even have to go like take the elevator down. They will come straight to the door, drop it off, take a picture, email you and say your bags are right there. I come in there and take my stuff right in. I don't even go to the liquor store that much anymore. Like I went to the liquor store to buy one of my homegirls something for her birthday. Hopefully she's not listening to this podcast right now because she already probably knows what she's going to get, but probably she won't because by the time we get together for her birthday bash, which is going to be happening very soon, I cannot wait. It's going to be fabulous. We're going to Hiroki, which is this very like elaborate, beautiful restaurant. Like it's sushi and it's fabulous and it's expensive as fuck. And I'm so fucking here for it. And it's going to be a good time. But you know, I've been using, you know, I go like the liquor store might be the one place I go to, but we do a liquor run. Like when I go, we're buying bottles because I'm not coming back for another 2 months. Like that's how I do it. Like I buy stuff in bulk. And you know, of course, you all know I'm getting married to a communications professional in the day and a bartender at night, Mr. Bartender Barry. So he gets the liquor. I mean, we have so much liquor in this house. Like I really only went to the liquor store to get a specific bottle of something. And if she's listening to this podcast right now, then she probably knows what it is. But I had to get a couple of specific things, and that was not something that was in the house already. So that's what I did. So this, you know, outside of that, I keep it simple. Like I'm not, you know, running out. As far as events go, mm, I'm going to be very much more thoughtful about my time. Who are going to be there? Is the question I'm going to start asking. Real rap, because my time is valuable and I don't have to waste my time being around people I don't like. Now, there are going to sometimes be situations where you're going to have to be in rooms with people you don't like. But if I can avoid unnecessary drama and unnecessary discomfort, I'm going to do that. So I think that's where my mindset is now with events and my social life, because events were a huge part of my social life as a person in media, as I guess a socialite of influencer, I suppose. That was a big part of it. And now I'm at a place where, you know, I just, you know, listen, I have found a place of solace, you know, sometimes being by myself or just enjoying the time I have with my fiance. And we've always spent time together, even before all the pandemic, but it's different, like to just be and just, you know, just not always have to be on the run unnecessarily. And as I'm in this process of working on my book, I cannot discuss what the book is about. Please do not message me about it. People have been asking me, oh, you're working on a book? I'm working on a book. That's all I can say. This time has allowed me to really dive into my writing and write some of the most intimate personal writing I have written in my career. And that has come from having some of this time to reflect and things. So I am going to miss some things from the pandemic because we're going to get back into full swing. This time next year, we're in it. And people want to keep holding on like it's not going to happen. Listen, we get in there, y'all. 50% of the restaurants I hear are at capacity, certain restaurants, but then I heard only 4 Black-owned or restaurants of color are at that speed. In Philadelphia, we're just not going to talk about the racist inequity with that, but you already know, read Dining While Black. I talked about this. There's some restaurants starting to come back into full swing. It's people getting some stuff. The stimmies are coming through. People are out here buying shit they shouldn't buy, but that's their business. You know, a famous woman was all like, but that's your business. That's your business. Stop telling people LLC Twitter to get LLCs. Some of us, like my fiance and I, already have LLCs. So now what? But I just feel like some of these people out here that's financial coaches, leave people the fuck alone. If somebody wants to buy some stilettos, some red pumps, some Air Force Jordans, let them the fuck be. That is their money. That is their choice. Period. I just feel like I'm just so over telling people what to do with their money if it has nothing to do with me. See, now I say this because I have family members who like ask me for money all the time. And I'm just like, but you have a stimulus. So use that stimulus wisely so that you don't text me or call me. But that's what I'm saying. You have to find, you know, there's a way to do that, but do it with people that you are in a real relationship with. If people are not asking for financial advice, and they're not following you for that, or you're not an expertise or certified in that particular field, mind your fucking business and leave regular people alone with what they do with their money. It's hard out here. People are dying. And so some people are saying, listen, if I want to blow my $1,400, I'm going to spend it like it's my last, because this could be my last. A mentor of mine that I really love passed away at 80 years old. I haven't really talked openly about it because I know a lot of, I'm very, I think about these things with close ones, but Emma Chappelle, who was if you don't know who Emma Chappelle is, look her up. She's the first Black woman to really found and start her own bank in America. And, First United Bank of Philadelphia was started in Philadelphia in the 90s, the early 90s. And she was a Black woman who wanted to build that Black wealth and create that institution to get Black-owned businesses and people to put money into Black banks. And, there's a lot of people who have since then have expanded on those notions across the country. But Emma Chappelle is a pioneer. She's a legend. She's someone who definitely was a mentor to me in my media field, in my career, as someone who was starting my own business and also learning to be an entrepreneur and be responsible and also care about my community. She did that for me. And I'm going to definitely remember her. She do a show on WRD. She used to do every Wednesday, and it was the Women's Leadership Council, which also had a woman named Joanne Bell, who's also a mentor of mine, and Rhonda, who also do that show. The three of them do Women's Leadership Council. They used to do it every Wednesday, and it would come on in the week in the afternoon, and they would bring me on that show every week talking about politics, especially during the mayoral race in 2019. And ever since then, we've continued. I've come on the show and make appearances. And Emma was just always like supportive of me and encouraging me to just keep speaking truth to power. And so when I found out the news, I was very definitely saddened by that. And, she's lived a long life. She's done some really great work. And she was always as engaged and as active until her last day. So, rest in paradise. I'll give her a moment of silence. I say. So, moving along, there's been a lot going on in the community around anti-Asian violence that's been happening due to idiots like Donald Trump and others who have been pushing this narrative around the Chinese virus. And the rhetoric of anti-Asian sentiment has been carrying around through journalists, through personalities, through celebrities, through folks. And it's gotten to a point where a person, of course, have been killed. There's been hate crimes, graffiti attacks in Los Angeles and other parts of the country. But now, finally, a reported crime that has escalated to something no short than an act of white supremacy. So in Georgia this week, a white terrorist, a white man, decided to go to 3 Asian massage spas, and he killed 8 people, 7 of which were women, 6 of them were Asian. And there's been a lot of talk about whether this is racist, whether this is, is this racist? Is this not racist? Is this whatever? It's fucking racist. The sheriffs are like, well, he had a sex addiction. You can have a sex addiction and be racist at the same damn time. You can like Black men and be racist at the same damn time. You can like Asian people, date Asian people, sleep with Asian people, once upon a time had a best friend that was Asian, and still be racist as fuck. These things are not mutually exclusive. And I think the fact that the police sheriff, why are you talking? Shut the fuck up and explain the crime. He had a very bad day. Excuse me, quote, he had a very bad day. I'm sorry, the people's families, the victims' families had a very bad day. it's been a lot of conversation, which is what happens when all hate crimes happen with white supremacists and terrorists, is that we do this thing where we begin to censor, we tend to victimize the oppressor, the afflictor. It becomes this, well, lone wolf, and let's get into his mind. Let's figure out, why do we do that? No, we don't do that. Black and brown people don't do that. White people do that. Let me be very clear. White people do that. I don't give a fuck about him. I'm not even going to say his name and make it about him. Fuck him. You can Google who the fuck he is. It doesn't even matter what his name is. It's the fact that it is a white man who has killed 8 innocent people. And so what we need to talk about in this community, and there's 2 parts about this, because I know people want to know various angles, because this is a very nuanced situation. But I want to be very clear that white supremacy is killing all of us, including white people who give a fuck. But if you give a fuck, if you're a white person, then I need you to be the ones doing the heavy lifting on getting your people together on this issue. I say that because too often when these hate crimes happen to black and brown people, but specifically when it's non-black people of color, everyone looks at black people like, what are black people going to do? A stupid article came out in NBC News that was on social media saying ways that black people can show up for Asian Americans. I'm sorry. Why is that article not saying ways that white people can show up for Asian Americans? We ain't the ones killing Asian Americans, just like they weren't the ones killing us. Why is the framing always pitting other people of color against people of color, when we all know that anti-blackness is happening in all the communities, and white supremacy is only happening by who? White people. So I don't understand why we keep getting in these conversations that always somehow centers the responsibility on black people, black activists, what are they going to do? What are their response is? If you're that person that's looking to do a I gotcha moment on if a black person says something about this or not, you're doing it fucking wrong. Get out of your anti-blackness and focus on the white people who consistently stay silent on these issues, which ends up helping them to perpetuate. Black people are not the mule of doing the heavy lifting on social justice for every other community. Are we in solidarity? You damn bet you we are. But what we're not are mules. The responsibility should not be shifted on what is the black community going to do. We are already an oppressed community that is still getting our asses beat and killed out here in these streets. Why is the most marginalized of the community always expected to be above and beyond, to be the saviors at the same time for other people? There's so many things I could say, and actually I feel like saying some of them. There is a sentiment that when black people specifically have some level of advancement or do some level of social justice work, then it is always the obligation on us as the most marginalized group in these situations to always be the person that's supposed to open the door and leave everyone else in. Historically, we have seen this happen with the civil rights movement. We've seen this happen with other movements. We even see this happen in the LGBTQ movement. It's black people that have to put their bodies on the line first before other people feel like they can do so too. And while it can be flattering to say that we lead the charge, sometimes we're tired. Sometimes we're exhausted. Sometimes we feel alone in doing this heavy lifting. And sometimes it breaks us down. So I think this is a moment where other people need to show up for Asian Americans in the ways that black people have asked for you all to show up for us. And I believe that it is time to stop. You need to unsubscribe from the notion that every time something happens to another community of color, you're looking at what black people are doing and how we're responding. Stop it. What needs to happen now is that we need to get to a place where when these things happen, we know who the problem is and we direct our anger accordingly. The anger is white supremacy. The anger is white people that's complicit with white supremacy. The anger is the people who continue to do this and not get justice for victims. Us, black and brown people, people of color, we're not against each other. We're not going against, at least black people aren't, right? But we got to be real that in this community, historically, there has been situations where the Asian community have been anti-black to black people. But this is not the time to focus the conversation on anti-blackness within the Asian community or within communities of color, because right now is the time to center and prioritize the issues and the atrocities that all of us as people of color are continuing to face by white supremacy. That's what we should be focused on. That's the conversation. How do we come together and create an affinity war and fight against white supremacy? Because we're all getting it. There's no such thing as a model fucking minority. There's no such thing as an ideal minority. Because what this is telling us about white supremacy, and I say this to my Asian brothers and sisters and siblings, you can be the most articulate, friendly, integrated, nice, kind, ideal American to white people, and they will still terrorize you. They will still kill you. They don't give a fuck because racists don't care about it. Actually, your success, your brilliance, your beauty is what infuriates them. So the better we are as black people, as Asian people, as Latinx people, that actually makes them even more upset. When they see us progressing, that's when they terrorize us even more. 2 words, Barack Obama. Constitutional law professor, Harvard degree, Columbia degree, wife with a Harvard law degree and a Princeton degree. Beautiful children. One that goes to Harvard, the other one goes to University of Michigan. Beautiful family, great dog, no crazy criminal records. Still a threat, still a target. So respectability will never save us. We have to come to a place where we have to unify and understand that when they do it to us, they will do it to you because we're all in this together. And that's how we need to think about this. And to the white people that say they're in solidarity, don't fucking turn your blocks on social media yellow. I saw this image of someone on Instagram doing that performative wokeness shit. Put up this post that had a yellow block that was supposed to be like how you all tried the black box. They're doing a yellow box. That's what they're doing on social media. They're doing the yellow. Some people are. It is racist. That is racist. That is not helping anyone. That's not spreading social justice. Stop trying to fucking clout chase and be trendy off of this. And we're going to talk more about the trendiness of things. Because we're going somewhere with all this. Because tonight is that night. It's clearly the tea. The tea is hot. It is hot today. So there's this situation happening, I mean, with conversations around race. And one of the conversations around race that people are having conversations is the idea around facilitating dialogue. Now, I don't fucking watch The Bachelor like that, but I've been following this scandal with the girl Rachel and the black man who was on the show, and this other new black host named Echo, whatever his name is, who's a hot mess. That are trying to have these dialogues around racism. Now, this man from The Bachelor, this brother, okay, he decides, I guess it's before he found out about what went down. I guess he had not found out. So let me back this up. The woman who was on The Bachelor, who was end up being chosen as his pick, right? She got the rose as they do. First of all, I think The Bachelor is a stupid ass show. Probably one of the dumbest shows in America. But people really like this show and it's a lot going on. So for people that want to know what's going on with him, basically the situation is that Matt James, okay, to be clear, Matt James was The Bachelor this season. He was the first black bachelor. It was a historic moment. He gave the final rose to a woman named Rachel Kirkconnell, only to learn in the after show, right? Basically they found out that he broke up with her because there's an after show called The Final Rose, okay? And so in the final episode, the viewers, people that watched the show, saw him give the final rose to Rachel, Kirkconnell, who he was, I guess, supposed to get married to, whatever, only to learn in the after show that it's since ended their relationship. And that was because of her racist history. So, she's apologized for her past behavior, but child, let's keep it 100, okay? Like, she did a lot, because some of the issues and the things that she did was she went to an antebellum, she was an antebellum. There was photos of her going to an antebellum event. There was some QAnon rhetoric or whatever affiliations. It was just a lot of racist shit that she did. And, pretty much that came out on social media, you know what I'm saying? And that was a big deal because everybody was kind of like, whoa, you a black man and you choose the white woman. And let's be clear, the black woman that there was a light-skinned black woman who was the semifinalist, the one before, and he just cut her off and broke it off with her to pursue this white woman. And he's a real estate guy, businessman. He is I guess he's cute. I mean, he's okay. He's a little basic for me. I mean, Matt James is cute, but not all that. He looks like a guy that went to college with me, like a guy from Penn. One of those dudes who went to Wharton. I mean, I don't know all his background, but he looks like one of those guys who went to Wharton. Good on paper, solid dude, but he looks like he has a type. But I'm not going to go into all of that. But he chose to date Rachel only to end it because of racism. And so what he said to her, quote, was, "The most disappointing thing for me was having to explain to you why what I saw was problematic and why I was so upset. And that is why it was problematic. When I questioned our relationship, it was in the context of you not fully understanding my blackness and what it means to be a black man in America. And what it would mean for our kids when I saw those things that were floating around the internet. And it broke my heart because this is the last conversation I thought we'd be having." Black women across America and my black ass was like, okay. Or Whoopi Goldberg at The View with Meghan McCain. Okay. That's how I really felt when I heard him say it. I was like, all I gotta say, y'all, is fetishes will get you fucked up. And we're gonna talk about fetishes a little bit, but bro, see, this is what I tell people. I am for love. Love is love. I'm for love. I'm for love. I am for love. If you love a person, be with a person. Marry a person. Be with that person. Love is real. Love is love. Okay. That being said, if you're going to get in an interracial relationship, people, it's important for you to come into that relationship and have done the homework, done the fucking work to understand. Okay, because it's not the responsibility of a black person or a person of color, whomever, that you're in that relationship to have to educate you, to have to teach you, to have to do that. To love somebody is to understand somebody, to educate yourself about who they are and where they come from. Rachel saw BBC, which is what some people will call big back cock, fetishize this black man, and she probably was chasing him for that pursuit. Now that's fucked up. But those are the type of things that happen. I'm not saying, listen, I have gone to schools, okay, all right. I went to USC for undergrad. For graduate school, and I went to Penn for undergrad. I've seen situations where I have seen white women, okay, fetishize black men around me and say things like that. Okay, big black cock, I didn't make that up. BBC, I didn't make that up. But that's a fetish, and that is a pornographic fetish that infiltrates how people feel about society. And to tie it into the anti-Asian violence that we're seeing is that there's fetishization around that. That killer, that fucking white supremacist targeted those women because they were Asian. He specifically went after them for race. And there's fetishization around this idea around sex addiction. No, you had a fetish for Asian women. And there's stereotypes about Asian women being softer, more gentle, more delicate, more fragile than black women. There's research that shows how they're considered more desirable in certain cases more than white women, or more softer. And that black women and darker women are skewed more to the more aggressive side just on appearances alone. Let's not act like we don't hear people, say ignorant shit like "love me long time" and all this crap. Or let's not talk about the romanticization of, this notion around soldiers during the Vietnam War in love with Asian women, Asian persuasion, and all this ignorant, racist, sexual shit that has been perpetuated, or how we talk about muy caliente, hot Latino lovers and men and women and fetishizing women like that, and Latin nights and all this fetishization around the sexual prowess of people of color, men and women, right? Even in the queer community, the old idea around Asian twinks and this idea of getting an Asian man that is feminine and fragile, all right? And that type of homoerotic sense and fragility around Asian men also hurts, cis het men in the industry, where they can't be love interests on shows unless they have their shirt off and they're fetishized in a certain kind of way. I could count on my fingers the number of Asian films, not Asian films, but movies where Asian men were treated as if they were attractive and not in that kind of way. For example, How to Get Away with Murder. Or one of my favorite little crushes was the man who was in the Cinderella. Like, I just saw him. He was so cute. But I remember in my childhood seeing him. This is the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella with Brandy. And the prince is, I think, Filipino. Or he's definitely Asian. He was cute. He was a good looking guy. This is the first time, they had, I seen in film an Asian love interest, right? Dating a black woman, which I thought was very powerful. And he's attractive, and he's not taking his shirt off. He's not doing any hyper aggressive stuff, right? Because when you think about other films like Mulan, you had Shang Li, who was, a hot animated character, but he's also a soldier. He's also, doing some karate tricks and stuff. It's like very stereotypical. Like most Asian depictions on the screen have been, men are either sex symbols, not even sex symbols, like figured in this masculine way, like Jackie Chan and, all of these different, Bruce Lee was always like in that type of framework. You've never seen them just be regular people who just so happen to be cute. You can count on your fingers. It's hard to find that representation. And when you start going into other demonstrations, South Asians and other types of people in the Asian community, because don't stop skipping South Asians. Everybody always think about Asians in this very Chinese, Vietnamese, lighter complexion. But when you go into South Asian culture, it is real, right? And so there's a lot of South Asian culture that gets erased in these conversations because people they think the only types of Asians are people that are from China and Vietnam and other places. It's a lot of racism there. But the fetishization of Asian people and just even of black men, right? Even in the queer community, like I said, like I have been in situations before. I was in a relationship when I used to go to the neighborhood where guys would, it was two types of ways. If they thought it was masculine, they're like, oh, let me see your big black cock at a bar. At a fucking bar, being sexually harassed at a bar, being talked to like that, or seeing if some of the older white men who would look at me and tell me I'm really cute and clean and neat, like shit like that was very creepy at events and socials that I went to, and it was interesting because you're dealing with men who were in power, who were very rich. There was this idea of the sugar daddy mentality, where some of these men, even if you were not interested in doing sex work in that kind of way, and I was never a sex worker, that's not what I do, and I'm not shaming people that do, but I would be propositioned because they were like, oh, you must be broke, you must be in need of this type of sexual concubine situation, and I was never in that type of situation or wanted to be in a situation like that, and to be talked to and treated like that, it made me start questioning my appearance. Like, am I coming across this way? You start to victim blame yourself. You start to be gaslight, because you're like, am I dressing a certain way that's luring people? And I can empathize to some degree about people of other genders who are feeling sexual harassment in those type of ways. It's disgusting, and it's a lot. So, to hear Rachel, not be educated about this, but was trying to commit herself to marrying a black man and not taking the time to look at her problematic history. And even for Matt to sit up here and go through this show and think he could just, not even address race, but that's what they do, right? There's a lot of men in the black community that are like, I'm not black, I'm OJ, right? That think that somehow they can transcend race, that they can skip over race, that somehow dating a white woman, they can elevate themselves off of dating a white woman. There are some people that do that. They think they can elevate themselves by dating white women. And there is that relationship. Kanye West, Kim Kardashian. Like, there is a transactional relationship sometimes in interracial relationships where there are black men who have a lot of misogynoir, where they absolutely hate black women, okay, and fetishize white women in ways where they look at them as a meal ticket, an opportunity, a level of status. Sometimes it's not even men that are financially hurt. It's men that are actually in positions of power where they think that having a white woman is a status. And I've met black men who have said this to me. Yes, I'm keeping it 100 tonight. They have said things to me along the lines of, "Oh, I had to get a white girl. The white girls be blah 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 blah." I was like, "Excuse me." It's just disgusting. So it's a lot of that stuff that happens, and I just, there's those moments, and those moments where you have to take a step back and you just have to say, yeah, this ain't okay. This is not cool. So there's some dumbasses out here. So there's the host, Emmanuel Acho. Now he is known for writing a book about conversations with a black man. This guy likes to be in the business of educating white people about black people through his very cisgender, hetero perspective, right? And, he's made himself a hustle in being that person that's going to educate white people about race and make a business out of it. And it's the most vapid, uninformed, uninspiring conversations that really, like, what made you an expert in this? You just woke up one day, you're a former NFL player. And I'm not saying that former NFL players cannot be smart, cannot do great things. There are many ones that I know who have done great work. But it's like, what have you done to put yourself in this position where you've had some lived experiences and somehow you are trying to facilitate these conversations? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, the study of race, the study of society, those are real academic components. Those are real like research topics. And when I go into spaces with people like Emmanuel Acho, who probably don't know what the fuck intersectionality is, probably don't really understand or have never read anything about Dr. Kimberly Crenshaw, don't know anything about bell hooks, probably read one bell hook book, so probably haven't, but just really want to have these very serious conversations and have them on what I call a very light box tip, but you're trying to talk about the sensitivities of race. I really cringe at that. And so for him to host this and try to have this conversation around race with this white woman on a show like The Bachelor, that's basic as fuck. It's basic as fuck. It's immature. It's a lot. He has a webcast called Uncomfortable Conversation with a Black Man. Apparently they said, he had the death charm of a man used to untangle complex racial dynamics for clueless white people. That's his reputation. And so he, tried to explain thorny concepts and tried to have these conversations, and it just was not. It just was not there. And let's be clear, Acho came in because he stepped up because the longtime host, Chris Harrison, announced that he's not going to no longer host The Bachelor after like over 20 seasons. That happened because he tried to defend Rachel Kirkconnell by suggesting that the antebellum parties were not considered offensive in 2018 and criticized the quote-unquote woke police for targeting her. Oh, yeah, he had to fucking go away. Because my whole thing is, first of all, you all, memo to white people, the conversations about racism did not start in 2020 because of the racial uprisings. Like, going to antebellum parties, which are, nostalgia of, the Confederate South, the Confederate South that wanted to keep black people like me and the one that you was fetishizing over enslaved. Like, that shit didn't just become not cool in 2020. And so somehow we're retroactively coming after people for what they did in 2018. I'm sorry. That's not how this fucking works. And there's no such thing as the woke police. It's called AKA black people that's looking at you like, so you went from doing antebellum part of 2018 to trying to marry or get with a black man in 2021, and you thought you was going to take a step back and look at your past? Girl, bye. Dismissed. Canceled. Yeah, canceled. I just, I cannot. So Rachel Lindsay was the first black woman to star in the spinoff of The Bachelorette in 2017. And she said she's been having issues with Harrison and become a critic of the franchise's handling of race. But my whole issue is, can we just be done with The Bachelor? Are we still trying to have shows like this? Like, what type of benefit do we get from shows like this in 2021? Like, I don't understand cancel The Bachelor. Cancel it. I think they're going to cancel these type of shows. Like, I'm just over these types of shows because honestly, it's reinforcing a lot of times desirability. Like the fact that there was, after 20-some seasons, first black bet. Like, why are we acting like that was such a progressive move only for this man to end up picking and giving a rose to a white woman that he finds out to be racist? Oh, progress, ABC. Bravo. Like, why? Why? Because at this point, the gig is up, and now people are going to look at this show, and now it's going to be super performative. It's going to be super fake and cheesy and stupid. So, cancel the show. All right. Moving along, because now we're at that part where, clearly there's so many things. So many things. So as I get ready for this, I want to set this up to just talk about the Grammys. Everybody's been asking me about the Grammys. There's so many things that's going on in the Grammys, and I'm really excited. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty much at a place where I'm, So let me just say this, y'all. They fucked up my bracket. Okay, the Grammys fucked up my bracket, and in some cases those are happy moments, and other moments are pissed off. I told you that Taylor Swift was going to win Album of the Year for Folklore. She's the first woman in Grammy history to win 3 Grammys for Album of the Year. So she won Album of the Year. It was a moment, y'all. But that was the only Grammy she won. Damn, it was interesting. She only won 1 Grammy, y'all, for Album of the Year. That's all she got. And that's all she clearly wanted, to be honest. Dua Lipa only won 1 Grammy. And that was for Future Nostalgia, which won Best Pop Vocal Album. And I was happy for her. This is her 3rd Grammy in total. Was surprised because I was like, she's got to win Record of the Year. Don't Stop Now because of The Weeknd, right? Nope. Billie Eilish, who I love Billie Eilish. She won Record of the Year, y'all, for the 2nd consecutive year for Everything I Wanted. And Everything I Wanted was a cute song, y'all, but it was not Bad Guy. So I have some mixed feelings. I like Billie Eilish as the artist. I like her. I like her too. Like her documentary, Things Are Blurry on Apple, which I got to see in a different type of way, but no comment. I appreciated that documentary about her career. It's pretty long though. It's over 2 hours. But she's done something that a lot of people don't often do. She beat the one and done hump, right? Without another album, she's still making music that's charting. Everything I Am, I sung that earlier, in the season. I love that song. And it was number 2 on the Billboard. Everything I Wanted charted really well. She won 2 Grammys, okay? She won for the for song in a movie, for the James Bond song she did with the movie that really didn't get that big old rollout like they expected because of the pandemic. She out here. She's out here, and so I don't even know. I heard about the James Bond film, but I mean, what it's coming out soon, but it was weird because the song won the Grammy for No Time to Die, but I'm just kind of the film is supposed to be coming out now October 8th, 2021, so it's coming out in the fall. But the song has already won a Grammy. And so I'm wondering if they're going to submit the song. I don't know. It was just weird. But the song got submitted for a Grammy and it's already winning. But it's coming out in October 2021. So that's interesting. But, it's already an award-winning film. Maybe she'll get an Oscar. Who knows? I mean, she might pull it Adele because Adele's Skyfall. Or she might pull a Sam Smith. Sam Smith won an Oscar for best song from a band. It's something about the damn James Bond songs because Adele won for Skyfall, which is a good song. Skyfall is good. But like Sam Smith won an Oscar too, and then now Billie Eilish done got on the track. I mean, it's a pattern. It's something about them James Bond songs that get the Oscars excited. So she might be in the running. It's like the only Oscars that like the James Bond films actually win. But no shade. So I was surprised, but I'm happy she got over that hump. Because I thought that she was going to hit a slump, because that's what happened to Lil Nas X. I mean, Lil Nas X at this point, he says, look, I got my Grammys, y'all. He probably will, I'm not saying he may never be at the Grammys again, but I think he's had a moment, and I think he's just having fun. Lizzo, I mean, she's got 3 Grammys. She might come back with something, but it seems like she's kind of taking it easy. I haven't really heard any new music from Lizzo, and I mean, we'll see what happens to her. Dua Lipa bounced back, yo, because she won Best New Artist, and there's a Best New Artist curse, y'all. There's a Best New Artist curse. People get it, and it's like, the people that don't win typically do better than the people that don't. Now, there's been some people that have done well, right? John Legend is still winning Grammys. Okay, he was a Best New Artist winner like 15 years ago. First of all, he should have not won for Best R&B Album. Love John Legend, think he's a great dude, but that album, like, Giveon should have got that, or Luke James. Like John Legend has gotten to be like the little puppy dog for the Grammys. Like, they love giving him stuff, and he's a fellow Penn alum, and I get it, but come the fuck on. Like, come on. Who else stood out to me? I mean, Best New Artist went to Meg Thee Stallion. Meg Thee Stallion won 3 Grammys, okay? But I got a little concerned about her. Will she make it? Because look what happened to Chance the Rapper. He won Best New Artist, and we don't really hear from him. Them albums been trash, yo. Like, I don't really care about what Chance the Rapper is doing now. I think he just kind of fizzled out. But he won Best Rap Album, and he had a moment, but then it kind of fizzled. I don't really know what to make of Meg Thee Stallion's career, though. It's kind of interesting. Like, let me just be clear. I didn't think Good News was a great album. I don't think it was a god-awful album, but I just thought, like, for that to be a debut album, it was all right. It just seemed disjointed. I don't know if she's going to keep... I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if this is just a moment and she might get oversaturated. I think Cardi B has the chops and has kept herself relevant, man. She keeps giving the hits. I mean, her performance with Meg Thee Stallion with WAP, I think she just killed it. WAP was just everything, man. WAP was just, that performance was just everything. And by the way, she, me and her been like, fellow Libra. She's been tweeting me. I've been tweeting her sometimes. And she liked my tweet that I said the Grammys because one of my, colleagues at the Daily Beast, Marlo Stern, who's like the entertainment editor, he had asked, WAP was record of the year. And I was like, well, first of all, Cardi B purposely did not put WAP in consideration for record of the year because she was focused on, she's waiting for her album to come out. She wants to put all her music and stuff for this year, for next year. So I said simply, responded to him and said, next year. And Cardi liked it. So she be seeing what the fans say. Yeah, Cardi's just awesome. But like, that song is just like, it's a riot, and it's great. And I like Up too. And I think what I like about WAP is just such a like no shits, no fucks given anthem. And it's just, it's so good. And like, it's so funny because there's men who make songs like this and no one says anything. Okay? Listen to half of Future discography. Freak hoes. I love a freak hoe. Shake that ass. Like, it's nothing but those types of songs on the radio. And no one gets mad about men who make songs like that. I mean, the only time people was like a little bit like that's enough was Nelly with Tip Drill. But even Tip Drill only got controversial because of the music video. But he literally was singing the song, It Must Be Your Ass Because It's Not Your Face, Tip Drill. No one complains when men do songs like this. But 2 black women got together and said, we're going to talk about our pussy and we're going to talk about sex and our experiences and what we want to do. And we're going to make a song about it. And all this censorship around, what about the kids? Y'all don't give a fuck about kids until a woman says something in her fucking music. Sit your misogynistic, misogynoir-driven ass the fuck down. You don't give a fuck about kids. Listen, if Republicans gave a fuck about kids, they would not be supporting a president that talked about grabbing women by the pussy. Make it make the fuck sense. Okay? Like, y'all don't give a fuck about protecting kids and sex and like me too, right? All these men who have had sexual innuendos and perpetuated rape culture and all of this locker room talk shit that you all protect. in your own newsrooms and businesses and companies. And all of a sudden, WAP comes out and everyone act like this is going to end the world. Shut the fuck up. WAP is a great song. Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion killed it. That performance was every fucking thing. Raise your own kids and mind your fucking business with what these women want to talk about if they want to talk about their fucking body. Okay? Because you don't like when women talk about, formation, right? When Beyonce's talking about formation and racial justice, oh, y'all don't like that. That's divisive. Like, what can women sing about? The Dixie Chicks couldn't sing about, not ready to make nice and talking about taking a stand. What can women sing about? What can women be allowed to sing about in music that does not have people ready to throw fists? Shut up. Miss me with that. Miss me with that. The problem is we live in a society that is so obsessed with celebrities, where they want to make celebrities be their activists, their therapists, their identities around femininity and sexuality. They want them to be everything for them. And let's just put celebrities in a celebrity box. I'm not saying shut up and sing or shut up and dribble, but I'm just saying to the public, understand these people are limited in what their scope is around being experts on every fucking issue. Having a big platform does not automatically mean that you are automatically a leader. You could be an influencer, but not an influencer in the ways in which you might want them to be. I'm just not about to put too much weight on these people like that. I'm over it. There's people out here that really care about the community and care about doing real movement work, and we need to censor them and not keep censoring these celebrities in this type of way. So I'm just concerned. I don't know if Meg, I'm still on the fence if Meg is going to continue and pursue this career, really expand on it, right? Because I just feel like right now is a moment, and I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but the only music and song that she got nominated for that really drove this was Savage featuring Beyonce. And note, it was never the original Savage. It was only Beyonce Savage. It got all these Grammy nominations. Rap performance, rap song, record of the year, this best new artist was, she won best new artist, which was hers, but she won best rap song, and then she won best rap performance or duo performance, but she won 3 Grammys, and Beyonce won 4 Grammys, and we're going to talk about Beyonce in a minute, but Meg Thee Stallion won 3 Grammys, and then she also won and she won some big ones. Best rap song with Beyonce, which Beyonce got with her. Best rap performance, which Beyonce got with her. And then they got nominated for Record of the Year and did not win. Shout out to Song of the Year winner. Shocking. I think that was the biggest shock of the night. One of the biggest shocks of the night was her won for Best Song for I Can't Breathe. Wow. It was a moment that people didn't really talk about that much, but it was a big moment. Her is like the Alicia Keys of our generation when Alicia Keys was starting off, not the current Alicia Keys. Okay, this is before Girl on Fire, Alicia Keys. Her is killing it, y'all. Her has been being nominated for Song of the Year and Record of the Year. This is not her first time. If you look at the previous Grammys, the previous past years, she's been getting some major Grammy nominations. She was nominated for Best New Artist. She didn't win. She should have won. She has won a Grammy before for R&B performance, I think R&B album or something. But she's been nominated for Album of the Year twice already. She's in her early 20s, and she's really talented. I think people think she's boring, right? Because the R&B people love them some Ari Lennox, problematic. Like them some Summer Walker, problematic. But they like those types of R&B artists, and those R&B women are not getting nominated. Tiana Taylor was not nominated. I do think that artists like them should be considered and nominated. Especially Summer Walker. A lot of people I know liked her album. I think it's a little, personally, not my taste. But I understand people's interest. I think she does a little bit too much, influence. It's too much covering-ish for me. But kind of like Bruno Mars, which I still don't understand why you all like Bruno Mars. I don't care about this Sonic shit that he's doing. I don't care about this little group he's doing. He keeps giving me wedding singer energy. He keeps giving me stuck in nostalgia 90s, and that's all he's trying to do. He's not trying to move the culture forward. I mean, he's just safe, innocuous. He's never pushy. He's never edgy, and he's just safe for white people. White people like Bruno Mars. And black folks do too. I just think that he's just so safe and basic, and there's nothing gravitating. He doesn't weigh in on anything. It's just He's focused on his music and making these cute little basic ass songs that all sound the same. And he's then climbed his way up to getting all these Grammys because of it. So, whatever. I'm still angry that Damn did not win Album of the Year because y'all gave it to 24 Karat Magic. That basic ass little album. Okay? It's not that the guy can't sing. I'm not saying he's not talented, but he's just so basic. So, yes. So Her is not basic. I think Her is a really skillful musician. She really is writing her music. She's really a hustler when it comes to her sound and her image. And I think she's really great. And I like her song Damage. Damage is a really good song. But also I Can't Breathe is really deep and very timely. And that was a really great, well-worthy shocker because I really didn't think Cardigan should have won Song of the Year. I didn't think Cardigan was like that good of... I mean, Cardigan's a good song, but it's not Taylor Swift's best songwriting, in my opinion. It's a good song, but it's not her best. And I just really feel like it's nice to see moments like that happen. Would have liked Dua Lipa to win Record of the Year. I keep telling y'all I really wanted to. People started thinking at the last minute that Black Parade was going to win. Interesting enough, Black Parade only won Best R&B Performance. Blue Ivy at 9 years old, y'all, is a Grammy winner. Okay, one for her, none for Carrie, none for Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj has been taking a lot of L's lately, y'all. Pray for her. But then again, she's bringing some of that herself. Carrie Hilson, I'm not going to keep bashing Carrie Hilson. Let me just say that. I take that back because, it's been 10 years, y'all. Y'all got to let that go. We all have to leave Carrie Hilson alone. Carrie Hilson's went through enough in her career. I think she's paid the price enough from the Beehive. It's time to move on. Beyonce don't see it for her. Beyonce does not care. Carrie Hilson, girl, the music was already declining, but, it is what it is. I mean, people can change in 10 years. Leave her alone. So we're going to leave Carrie Hilson alone. But, Beyonce has 28 Grammys. She is now the most awarded singer, male or female, artist. She's the most Grammy award-winning woman of all time, period, now. She's broken the record. She beat Alison Krauss, who came in with 27. She tied, and then she beat her at 28. Okay, so Beyonce now is the most awarded woman in Grammys history. Now, she's been had about 79 nominations, 76 or something like that. She has a lot of nominations. But she's got the most. She's now third place. Second place. She's tied with Quincy Jones as the second most awarded Grammy person ever. Quincy Jones is not an artist or a singer. He's like a producer, conductor. So he is... So Beyonce is the most awarded musician, like as most awarded singer, right? So she's tied with Quincy Jones as the second most awarded person in the Grammys with 28. The person with the most is a conductor named George Stolley I think his name is. He has 31 Grammys. Okay, 31. And so I think Beyonce is going to get those. She's going to get there. If she cares to get them. But she doesn't have to prove a motherfucking thing. She's never had to really prove anything. But she benefited, largely off of this collaboration. The woman had no album, one single and a feature, and got 4 Grammys, got the most Grammy nominations, and won the most Grammys this week. She got Brown Skin Girl music video, best music video with Blue Ivy. She should have won best music film for Black is King, but she didn't get it. She won for best R&B performance for Black Parade, which we'll take it. And then she won best rap group performance, duo performance with Meg Thee Stallion for Savage. And then she won best rap song with Meg Thee Stallion for Savage. So as you can see, she's doing it. And now they have a complete... So her husband, Jay-Z, Shaun Carter, has Grammys. He's got like over 20-something Grammys. Most Grammy award-winning rapper of all time. His old rival, Nas, won his first Grammy for Best Rap Album at the Grammys. Nas has never won a Grammy. Neither has Tupac. Neither has Diana Ross won a competitive Grammy. So Grammys, don't take them that seriously sometimes, y'all. Some people get really serious about it. Who else? Jay-Z has Grammys. Solange has a Grammy for Crane the Sky. She won a Grammy, not this time, but in the past. Blue Ivy now has a Grammy. So that is the husband, the wife, the sister, and the daughter. That's a Grammy-winning family, y'all. 4 family members got Grammys over there in the Knowles Carter clan. So shout out to them, right? But to be clear, this is a bittersweet moment. Because people were saying, and people are talking about it, like, it's interesting. Like low energy Beyonce, right? Beyonce doesn't give us a performance, could get 4 Grammys. Beyonce gave the Grammys one of the best performances of their fucking entire history when she was pregnant and she decided to do a performance during Lemonade of that per album. And they only gave her best contemporary R&B album. And then they gave her best music video for Lemonade, not Lemonade, for Formation. But as far as the album goes, she only won one album, one Grammy for that album, and that was Best Contemporary R&B Album for Lemonade. And other than that, she got all those nominations. She did not win Song of the Year for Formation, Record Year for Formation, Album of the Year. She lost to Adele. Adele won all those Grammys that year. She won for Hello for those categories. Beyonce just got, completely jutted out. And I'm just thinking to myself, she gave y'all all of that energy, okay, and this is how she came up short. So Beyonce has been in situations where she doesn't owe anybody a damn thing. I mean, she did, Drunk in Love. She, gave y'all that performance. She turned around, lost album year to Beck. I mean, it's just a lot of interesting. The Grammys have had a really janky relationship with her. And honestly, fuck them. I mean, it's like this woman has only won one competitive. Well, let me take that back. She's only won in the general category. In 2010, that was Song of the Year for Single Ladies Put a Ring on It. And that was the only general category Grammy she's ever won. All of these Grammys that Beyonce's won has been in the lower, I call it the lower, smaller tier, ghettos of the Grammy consideration. And, the little, and then artists talk about this. They put them in the hip hop categories. They don't put them in the pop categories. I mean, she's won a Grammy for Best Pop Vocal Performance for Halo, but she's really been put in just the R&B categories, even though we know her contribution as a Black artist it does not reflect the Grammy win she's gotten. But this is such a first world issue. The woman has 28 Grammys. Congratulations. Honestly, the Grammys these white institutions fail us every day. And I'm just happy that she had a win. Shocker that Harry Styles finally won a Grammy. That was an interesting thing, right? I really thought that was going to be a Dua Lipa moment, but then look what happens. It's just crazy. It's just crazy what's happened. Moving along, because here's the part where we need to talk about what I really want to talk about in certain aspects. So let's get into these Grammy performances. First of all, what was the fucking the baby doing? Because this is a tale of two babies. The baby, what was that performance with you in that little white church suit over there with Roddy Ricch doing a performance of Rockstar? You have some nerve, okay? What are you doing, okay? Because you had these women looking like Supreme Court justices in full long gown out here doing some little dance or some shit. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was thinking. But Homeboy was doing the most with this performance. And then he was dressed up with this wild outfit, looking like he was a church usher with these jewels on his neck. I don't know what he was doing. I was confused. But he performed Rockstar with Roddy Ricch. They was in all white looking. It was just weird. And no women dancing and singing and these white women. I didn't know what he was doing, but it was weird. I don't know what this whole culture of this woke performance thing is doing. No one has done it as great as Kendrick has done it in recent years, which is Grammy performance, okay, during Damn. Woo! Okay, he can shake the house. I really love Kendrick Lamar. I know you all will find something controversial that I have not unearthed about him, but the Pulitzer Prize winning, Grammy winning, 3-time album, his album has been nominated for Album of the Year 3 times, okay? To Pimp a Butterfly should have won and beat Taylor Swift for 1989. But, she finally, she should not even won for Fearless. But, his 3 albums that he has released, his major studio albums, all 3 of them have been nominated for Album of the Year. He won a Pulitzer Prize, okay, a Pulitzer Prize for Damn, which is an incredible album that should have won Album of the Year, but he lost to fucking Bruno Mars. So listen, we have not seen a Black artist win Album of the Year in a long ass time. I mean, it's been Herbie Hancock was the last Black artist to win, for that Joni Letters or whatever that was, safe music, jazzy music, Ray Charles, they give it to people like that. And I'm not saying anything wrong with those artists. Those are legends. But damn, the last major hip hop album that I can think of that really won was Outkast for the Love Below, Speaker Box Love Below, which is still a big fucking deal. And one of my favorite all-time albums. And Outkast, like, I mean, they like Stankonia was a classic. Um no one has done it as great as Outkast in the hip hop group duo thing, right? Just love them. All right. So moving to the performance and what has brought everyone here. So the Lil Baby did a performance, right? And it was a fiasco. I mean, you have him, at protests. You have him, out here in the streets. Black men get shot. I don't know why people think there's something beautiful or art or moving about performative enactments of black people, black men, black folks getting shot on TV. Like, we are like what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Like, I just really don't get it. Like, I saw, like, the Baby do it at the BET Awards. Now Lil Baby is doing it where they're now trying to recreate these scenes, and they really think this is going to be like, I hate it. I hate seeing it. It's triggering. It's annoying. It's commercial. It's like, fuck it. You don't have to sing the song this way. You do not have to display this. This is triggering. This is fucked up. Why is it that there are some black folks, right? And I don't want to call them clout-chasers, but why is it that you think that in your process of trying to educate and wake white people up, that you don't recognize that maybe it's more important sometimes to think about other black people and how they're going to see the art and experience it, but rather than always focusing on trying to teach them to white people. Because if you're trying so hard to traumatize, if you're trying so hard to awaken white people at the expense of traumatizing black people and experience, there will be no more black people left. There will be no black people left that will be able to fully function, to be protected or be whatever, because we've been so exhausted by the consistent PTSD that we get from seeing shit like this. I don't know who knows people in the industry, but tell people, stop fucking doing this. It's enough. It's like in music videos, we see it on TV. It's enough viral videos of black people getting shot and killed on television and on social media. I don't need to see you all go up there, kill a black person on screen, show a cop in this type of way to be like, whoa, that's deep. Like, it's not fucking deep. It's fucking exploitative. It's exhausting. It's traumatizing. Stop it. And then it gets worse. So, of course, here comes Tamika Mallory. Yes, Tamika Mallory. That Tamika Mallory. Tamika Mallory, who's been accused of anti-Semitism. The one from the Women's March that was with Linda Sassoir. The one who did all the controversial shit around trying to stand up for, Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan, which, I've talked about Farrakhan in the past and his problematic ways. The one who also still continues to stand by Russell Simmons and was in the press for defending him, even though his accusers have been growing in numbers. Yeah, that's Tamika Mallory. Tamika Mallory, who, created this organization called Until Freedom, and had got a lot of criticism around how she has been conducting that organization, because she's been trying to keep her name up and get her image out ever since she botched and got in controversy around the Women's March, right? Because there was controversy around financial impropriety, the anti-Semitism, a lot of the other issues that have been clouding that organization under her leadership and some of the stuff she's done to the point where she had to leave, okay? Tamika Mallory is a grown-ass woman. She is in her 40s, early 40s. She's grown, y'all, okay? This is not like a young activist coming out on social media. This is a grown-ass woman who's been in this work for a long time. But how she's been moving has been questionable. And it's been a long time. But I think people are fed up and they're tired of it. And her good old friend, Shaun King, too. So let's get into it. This performance, she shows up midway in the song, and she gets up there and she's talking giving a speech, and the message is powerful, talking about we don't want allies, and President Biden, and he needs to we need justice, yada yada yada. Okay, she already on the Grammy stage. It's giving me neoliberalism, but whatever. It's not. It's whatever. Right? That's how I felt. But then as she closes and concludes her segment in this performance, before they go to Killer Mike, which is a problem within himself, but like Killer Mike is like a hot mess. But like she starts going, until freedom, until freedom, until freedom. And then the people in the crowd is marching. Like there's like a reenactment of a protest or a rally, and they're saying until freedom too. And she's got her fist up. And I'm like, hold up. Until Freedom is the name of her organization. Did this woman really get her ass on national TV and do a performance around a Grammy performance around black violence, and then like try to plug in her organization within this appearance? Child, I was like, this a hot mess. But to make matters worse, she posted on her Instagram and she provides the Cash App and the Venmo to Until Freedom. Now, I'm trying to figure out personally, like, what kind of business is Until Freedom? I mean, they say it's an intersectional movement, but I don't know where all the queer black folks and folks that had co-signed this. She got these people she's around, and Linda Sarsour is like a part of this with her, and she's also controversial for various reasons. It's just interesting that this is like, they're like, she continues this. So I'm like, this looks like a grift. I personally, in my opinion, it looks like she's grifting. That's how the appearance came off to me. It came off as grifty. And I just was like, you know what? This is not my tea. This is not my tea. I am not beat for this. This is a problem. But see, I wasn't the only one who thought it was a problem, right? Because let me keep it 100. Tamir Rice is the young 12-year-old who was shot and killed by police, who basically, there was no justice for her son. And Tamir Rice was one of the people that inspired, along with Trayvon Martin and others, that we know in this movement around fighting for Black lives, fighting for Black lives. Black Lives Matter movement, a lot of those deaths, those tragic deaths in those earlier years when it was started around 2012 and whatnot, was inspired by these unarmed killings of black men and black boys and black children and youth and women. These names, these are people who have been talked about in the media for years, and their names and these families, their names have been used consistently on marketing and things like that, and they're not getting support. Tamir Rice has went on social media and called this out many times, but they're not getting any money. So when you're giving money to organizations like Until Freedom and to other groups, Black Lives Matter organizations and groups, these families are not getting money. And it's sad, because you would think that there would be a fund to support those families that are coming from some of these people, and it's not. But they're using these names, these images, these deaths on flyers and promotion to drive funding for their own organizations, but they're not giving money to these families. So Tamir Rice called it Clout-Chasing. She called out Ben Crump, which is a civil rights attorney, Lee Merritt, which I don't personally fuck with. I think Lee Merritt, in my opinion, is trash. That's my opinion, because he was out here getting behind him and Ben Crump. I'm going to get to that in a minute, y'all. I'm going to tell that story a little bit too. But all of this gets back to a lot of trash I have experienced directly from some of these people, or been in emails with these people and dealt with these people directly in some type of way. So I am connected to some of this. Let me just be clear. That's why it hits home for me. But like, Tamika Mallory's done some very just fucked up things. So one of the things she's been criticized with is, Tamir Rice had called it Clout-Chasing and criticized the work that they did and said it's a mockery of these families and the violence it's caused. And I agree with Tamir Rice on this. And other families are coming out with Tamir Rice defending her and saying that they do not want people to support people like her or Shaun King, Patrice Cullors and others that they are accusing of clout chasing and doing these types of things. And so there's a lot of language out there, the statements out there. You can Google and get into some of the demands. But like on my Instagram, I put the Cash App of those two, the Tamir Rice's Cash App account, and then also one of the other slain families that have gone alongside her. Because what people need to understand is they're not getting this money. They're not getting any financial support. They're struggling, not struggling, but I don't, but they are struggling emotionally from a lot of the trauma that they're seeing being put out there. So on my social media account, Richard Reiser, who also was killed, the mothers of Tamir Rice and Rachel Reiser have asked that donations go directly to them, because they aren't receiving any of the money that organizations are using, are raising using the names of their children. So I put the Cash App in my Instagram post from the piece that I wrote called "Was Tamika Mallory Grammy Spot, quote unquote, benefiting off the blood?" And benefiting off the blood was a term that Samaria Rice used to describe how these people like the Shaun Kings and others have been clout chasing off of the deaths of their children's names. So there's some context here. There's some history here. There is some real deep-seated concerns and issues that's driving a lot of the concerns and issues that are oftentimes ignored in these conversations. So I just want to raise awareness on that. But the critique around Tamika Mallory also has been ongoing, right? So outside of the Women's March movement, outside of the Nation of Islam support, outside of defending and standing by Russell Simmons, and there are stories about that, Google that, that shit is real. There has been concerns in her new projects around Until Freedom. A lot of people have noticed that she's aligned herself with these reality TV stars like Yandy Smith-Harris, which, oh my God, why? Why Yandy, y'all? Why? Right? And then, of course, aligning herself with Portia Williams from The Real Housewives of Atlanta, right? These reality TV stars, these hip-hop artists and people, she's been bringing them into the fold. Now, her narrative is that she is spreading awareness and she's getting them to use their platforms for good. But what we have seen in some of these actions with them, right, Yandy of course, is that they have used it to promote their brands and give themselves storylines on the reality TV shows where they've become more irrelevant as each season begins to progress. Now, my fiance watches The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't watch it like that. I know a little, I get a little bit of the tea around it, but I'm not really into it like that. But he's surprised. That's like his guilty pleasure, which is weird. Love and Hip Hop is my guilty pleasure, y'all. I watch all of Love and Hip Hop. So we have our little reality show interest. He can't stand Love and Hip Hop. Well, he doesn't like Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, but he likes the other ones. But like, I watch it all, right? I'm into it. But he's into Real Housewives of Atlanta. So he said that he felt like this season, Portia's narrative has been really driven by this whole wokeness of her. She got a New York Times feature story. She's just been reinventing herself through this and like this transformation, quote unquote, right? To make herself this more mature, woke person. Like she's aligning herself with the aesthetics. These deaths are not an opportunity for you to get a fucking come up. Go find a new way to like reinvent yourself. Go to therapy. You know, do something else. Go to therapy. Mind your business. Talk to your family. Stay out of shit, right? There's other ways that you can reinvent yourself without getting caught up in performative shit like this. So it's been interesting. But she's been riding alongside Tamika Mallory, who has been like her clout card or her access into her woke card, I would say, into getting into these spaces and performing. So there's been cameras and camera crews and people coming and documenting it. And so she's been using this footage. And so they think that they're spreading awareness by using this footage on TV. I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but like, it's not working. This awareness campaign shit, like just, oh, I'm spreading awareness. That's not the way you, like, that's not that. And I think the reality is that there's money being made by these people that they're trying to act like they're just doing this out the kindness of heart. They're making money. Tamika Mallory gets on the front cover of magazines. She gets, to look like an influencer. She gets to get her brand promoted. She gets money for her organization, which is what pays her. Like, she's getting bank out of this. I mean, there are people out here getting book deals off this shit, getting feature stories, getting all types of weird contract deals off of this shit. Like, Woke Inc. is a real thing. People are making money off of this performative shit, off of black dead people's lives. And so Yandy has been doing this shit. These people have been using this to elevate their platforms. I think it's clout chasing. That is my opinion. This is a way for them to get relevant. They're so corny. They're so whack. Like, the other shit they were doing got played out. So now they're jumping on trend because now it's trendy in 2021 to look like an activist, to speak cause. Like, they've made this shit like a fucking, instant noodle pot, like an instant cookie pot, like a starter kit on how to be woke, right? Get arrested, get a selfie, hang out with Tamika Mallory, get retweeted by Shaun King. You're an activist. That's what it's looking like. That's what it's looking like. Let's keep it the fuck 100. These people are out here making money and getting famous off this shit. One of the things that I have made clear about my career is that I have not tried at all to really use these types of tragedies in these ways to elevate myself and make money. It's just what I do. As a journalist, I cover these issues. As a journalist, I put a spotlight. I use the media and the press to steer the conversation. That's all I fucking do. You're not going to see me out here getting influencer deals off of Black Lives Matter, getting book deals off of dead black people. Like, I try to tell people that if you have real talent and that you have a real voice, there are more sensitive, more intellectual, and sophisticated ways that you can address these issues without looking like you're looking for a fucking check. It's not saying that only activists can talk about these issues, but you should push local activists and organizers who know how to do this work to the forefront. Amplify them. I've told people that my work as a journalist, sometimes people look at it as a form of activism. But in everything that I've done, when it comes to particular movements and causes, I've always centered the local activists and the people that's involved in it. Okay? Because yes, I have a platform, and yes, I talk about these issues, but I want you to know who's out here doing the work. The Black and Brown Workers Cooperative was an organization that was doing work around gay racism, that was fighting against it. Like, I use my platform to cover my experience, and that started the story. But the movement and the groundwork and then putting their bodies out there in addition to my coverage is what got all this together. I will never not have a conversation about gay racism and about that work without acknowledging that group. And you have to acknowledge people that's a part of that process. So what the issue I have with Tamika Mallory is that she rolls up into cities and places and do not talk to the local activists. So in Kentucky, okay, which is where Breonna Taylor, resided, and she was killed, of course, as we know, unfortunately, there has been activists out there in Kentucky, or not Kentucky, I'm sorry, Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, Kentucky, but Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville specifically. In Louisville, Kentucky, the Louisville activists that are a part of their own like Black Lives Matter, institute that's separate from the organization, but they have their own, activism network there. They were not being included or reached out to, and it's a mess. They were not reached out to for any of the stuff that was going on from Until Freedom. So here's where Until Freedom has fucked up numerous times in that area. There was a situation where 87 activists were arrested, right? Including some of the celebrities. Until Freedom coordinated this. They rode up to Louisville and they went outside of Attorney General Daniel Cameron. That's the black man who's really good friends with Mitch McConnell, who's a reoccurring villain that we talk about on the podcast. He's a black man that really isn't really appeared to really be trying to get justice for Breonna Taylor. They went outside his house, and of course he's a public figure, and they charged him with felonies. Those felonies later got dismissed, but the issue was that from organizers and people that's connected to the situation I spoke to that was close to it on the ground, there was issues with bail funding, because a lot of those local activists that were not orchestrated, the local activists, some of them that did go to that event, their bail their bail fund in Louisville for those activists was being drained. Like, there was complaints. I don't know if the money ended up getting replenished or whatever, but at the time, there was issues where they had to bail some of those people out, and that was hurting their financial bills. And this is something that was sparked because, Tamika Mallory wanted to throw it. This was opportunity for for Portia or for Yandy and them to go out there and have cameras and be out there and look like they're out here being woke, because they were getting vanity arrests. Because them getting arrested and then getting bailed out makes them look like they're freedom fighters. So they go in places like this, look like they're starting shit. The shit can be dangerous as fuck, but they really think that it's cute. And apparently they had water stations and sections for them to get water and refreshments, and that was cut off, and there was VIP placement for where the camera's gonna be, so these people could look like they were there and out there and get attention. And so it was just a lot of performance. And it was all used as footage for their fucking reality shows. And Tamika knew that. Tamika knew what was happening. And at the end of the day, that created mess that ended up having to be addressed by the local activism organizations, to which she did not work with the coordinator on the ground. And everybody know rule number one in activism organizing, you have to engage. Okay, you have to engage the people on the ground, because they're the grassroots people. They're going to be the people that's going to be impacted whether or not you give a fuck or whether or not you show up. Those people are still hurting. Louisville and the people in that city is still hurt by what happened to Breonna Taylor. But people like, Tamika Mallory, that's a tour stop for her. That's a place where she can go here and then go where she's going to go, because until freedom, until freedom, until freedom. And so, it's a lot of shit, right? It's a lot of shit, but it gets worse. So later that summer, she has the Breonna Con. And the Breonna Con is where I was like, oh no, the fuck you did it. So the Breonna Con was a 4-day event that included them, getting more vanity arrests, protesting. It was also a tailor-made, get it, Taylor Made, after Breonna Taylor's name. Taylor Made event where they had a women's empowerment like panel, and Yandy Smith was a part of it, and Portia came through. There was events and step and repeats, lovely gowns, gorgeous gowns, beautiful gowns, and step and repeats, and photo shoots, and photo ops, and people taking selfies with celebrities, and food, and a Brie BQ. Get it? Brie BQ. Woo! So that was the shit that they did, and they turned it into what felt like a parade, a spectacle, a cookout. It was a day-long cookout. It was a 4-day gathering, get-together, performative activists unite. And so this shit happens, and Tamika Mallory's response was pretty much like, oh, the family liked it, and the family approved it, and they were okay with it, and they thought the idea was cool, and yada, yada, yada. Let me be very clear. Sure, the family, by all means, have every right to support it and whatnot. But that doesn't make the event any less tacky. It doesn't make the event any less suspicious or sus, right? It doesn't make the event any less cringeworthy, because at this point, this is what you do. Like, you're going to sit up here and you're going to have this event, and you're going to basically, censor yourself in this way and have these celebrities come up in here, and this is what you all do. So it was just tacky. The flyers that went out, they had Breonna in the faded in the background with all these celebrities' faces at the forefront. I mean, it just looked very disgusting and tacky. And when I saw the flyers, I was like, this can't be real. And it was so real. And the Louisville Black Lives Matter protesters and groups, they were just so upset. They were not included in this. They didn't have anything to say about how this could have been more meaningful and useful, because it was turned into a spectacle. And it was very disappointing. And she said she has no regrets about it, because that's just how ruthless I think she is. She said she had no regrets about having the event. And it's almost like you're just going to double down. You can't see how this could have been perceived. I mean, this woman is really just problematic. But moving along, here she goes again with this. And so who comes in her defense is no other than the Talcum X himself. Some people say, Thurgood GoFundMe. I like to just say Talcum X. Shaun King. So Shaun King hates me. He knows who I am. He knows about me. He's definitely have talked about me. He's tried to, in my opinion, intimidate me. I didn't back down. This man, I have exposed this man for things that became untrue to others that got exposed later. And he tried to pretty much dox me, target me one time. He put a tweet out about me where I accused him of using his social media platforms to, raise money for himself. And he tried to say that was a fictitious, not true, but he did have paid ads. He criticized me about paid ads, but he did have paid ads that was attached to this organization. He's started many organizations that failed, but he was running paid ads that were connected to his organization. And what it was that on his content, his videos, he was sharing videos out that was asking for money and support and whatnot. That was proven to be true. There was receipts and things, but he tried to say that, it wasn't true. He wasn't ever running ads to sell people, get money. That wasn't true. He actually was running digital ads for campaigns and things he was doing. And it was through Facebook, and that's what I said. And he was very much so defensive about that, told people it was a lie, to which I had tons of trolls came after me on social media. It changed the way I interacted on some aspects of social media, because I had a bunch of people on Instagram, crazies, okay, Bernie Sanders supporters, that was just telling me all kind of crazy shit, threatening me. They got on my social media accounts. And so I had to change my Instagram settings, where the only people that can comment on my Instagram posts specifically, because my Facebook stuff is already protected, but my Instagram was open, and I was like, people were commenting, and they were just saying crazy stuff, calling me names, putting things on my comments and stuff, harassing me, all kind of crazy stuff. And he did it all on social. And he also targeted another Black queer activist and writer, journalist actually, a writer, an individual named Clarissa. And Clarissa really, she was intimidated through her college. There was speculation that people in his camp had called her college. Clarissa Brooks was the individual I'm talking about that was targeted by him as well for, he claimed that she was lying on him, shared a tweet and said the tweet was false. His reputation, I mean, you could Google all of the dumb shit he's done and all the things done. I mean, one of the recent things he done was that he plugged Chadwick Boseman death as a way to then promote and try to sell one of his faulty ass, trash ass books. I mean, the list goes on about all the ways that people have found him to be a grifter. But white neoliberals and white quote-unquote progressives flock to him for a sense of clout and validation because of his quote-unquote massive following. But at the end of the day, let's be very clear, black activists, okay, not black celebrities, but real black activists that do this work know of Shaun King's problematic ways. I mean, people like, there's so many people that have been criticized, actually. But many people have called him out. D-Ray has called him out. Other black groups have called him out. Folks have called out D-Ray, too. I mean, they're all calling each other out. It's like the Spider-Man meme where the two Spider-Mans point each other out. But he's been called out by other folks in the activism community for just the way that he's conducted himself and how he's not been transparent. His transparency has been faulty. Some of the things he has said, some of the things that he has just done has been very fucked up and problematic. And he has been accused of taking the work of black women activists, taking their intellectual property, taking a lot of things from them and using them and all of this. It's just been a lot of things that he has just done that has been consistent. And he has not, reversed the things. Like, okay, you make a mistake. People are not perfect. But this man consistently has shown that he does not give any fucks. And that, people question his racial identity. People have asked me, is Shaun King black? Listen, all I'm going to say is this. His birth certificate has a name of a white man as his father and a white woman. He has acknowledged that he's interracial. He claims he's interracial. Like, we all know his mother's white. He wants to tell everyone that his father isn't white, that she slept with a black man, and that they don't know who the man is. But according to his birth certificate, it's a white man. I don't trust anything that Shaun King says. I don't believe anything that he says. I have seen him lie. I have known people that have worked for him that have said he has lied, and he has been proven to lie or mislead people about things. So if you're asking me if I think that Shaun King is black, the answer is no. I don't think he's black. I don't believe him. I think the documentation shows that he has had two parents, and I don't know who this black man is. They don't know who the black man is. It just seems to be whatever. And there's been speculations about numerous times that he's made claims about certain things that just has not really added up. So I don't trust the man. I don't personally trust him. That's my opinion. I'm speaking for myself. Because I've just there's been a lot of consistent concerns about the way he operates. Remember, the North Star was going to have all of the things. Remember, it was supposed to be this big, huge media company that was going to be so woke, and he was raising all this money. What the fuck did y'all get from the North Star? What that little podcast he do? Them little corny ass blogs? Like, what the fuck did North Star do? Where did that staff go? That Atlanta office, all that staff writers, all them editors. Remember them people that was defending him and then end up bouncing and leaving? Oh, okay. Same ones that was out here talking about the rest of us were full of shit and lying were the same ones that end up aborting ship and leaving. You can read the articles. Google his bullshit. It is there. So I say all that to say that the interesting thing about him is that he comes in defense of Tamika Mallory. Let me back up on why that relationship is the way it is. There was concerns about what he was doing with his money, right? They were asking people about transparency, about how he spends his money, what was the money with the North Star, and this, that, and the third. He claims he had this audit and people looked into his stuff and didn't find anything. But it was interesting because it was like people in his camp, people that was in his circle. And Tamika Mallory was a part of this, even though she's been accused of financial impropriety around the women's march. So why would I take her seriously? But anyway, she was one of the people that was a part of this dialogue and saying that she reviewed it and she publicly came out and said that there was nothing wrong going on with Shaun King's practices and everything was good and squeaky clean. People was like, bullshit. He delayed the transparency to the public. When it was all, by the time it went to the public, there were so many red flags and question marks around what the fuck he was actually doing. So, once again, do I believe him? No, I don't believe it. But she came in defense of him, and people were like, Tamika, really? But no one really understood because, like I said, birds of a feather flock the fuck together. So I was very much aware that something was up even then. But I left it alone. I was like, okay, not my ministry, not my church. Let's see what happens. So he writes this piece, okay, in the North Star. Okay. And he's talking about empathizing with Samir Rice's mother, Samira. My thing is, he starts in these ebb and flows where he's like, basically, I found it to be cringeworthy. I thought it was gaslight. I thought it was manipulative. It just seemed tone deaf. It was like he would praise us, like, I know that she's hurt by the stuff and this trauma and this grief has her. And I'm just looking like, you're talking about her grief in this way. You're talking about, this woman and acting like somehow that's clouding her ability to speak out and articulate real legit concerns. So now he's dismissing her concerns as if they're just a reaction to her trauma, as if trying to invalidate that what she is saying is rooted in real merit and real legitimate concern. He's making it seem like, well, she's got these concerns because she's going through hurt. So hurt people are going to say things. Like, he's being fucking gaslighting. It is very problematic. Samira Rice knows very clear what she is saying. She is very much so a woman who has experienced trauma, yes, but it's very clear that in that trauma, that her anger and frustration is coming from a very valid, fair, legitimate place. And to do this very much so dismissive, passive way of saying, oh, she's just hurt, don't mind what she's saying is just a matter of her being hurt, and really blowing her off like that is fucking disrespectful, problematic as hell. And someone should tell him to fuck himself. Because honestly, it's very clear what's happening here. So then he goes into this position of then defending Tamika, consistently saying, I didn't see the performance that way. I mean, and then try to talk about it and compare it to what the WAP performance could have been. Sir, no one cares about your take on what black women are doing and what WAP could have been and what if she would have did. Shaun, that woman defended you in your questionable, fucked up ways. So that's why you're coming out to support her. The bias is there. It's very clear what's going on. I remember when I criticized him that he tried to send me email. We went back and forth, actually. And then he had all these lawyers CC'd and was trying to get me to, retract and all this shit. And had Lee, Lee Merritt and had Lee Crump and these other people, like, named them. And when it was all said and done, I think Lee Merritt was the only one who tried to respond back. But, like, none of the people called me, right? Like, none of them called me. None of them even responded. And then for what I was hearing was that, like, Lee Crump and all of them, Ben Crump, they weren't even going after these people. But, like, he CC'd all those names as a form of intimidation. Like, my thing is, why the fuck are you talking? If lawyers talk to people. Lawyers talk to lawyers. Lawyers talk to people. Why the fuck are you talking to me with these people? If there's a lawyer involved, the lawyers talk. That's what lawyers do. You don't talk to me. Why are you talking to me? If you so big and bad, let a lawyer say something to me. I have been harassed before. I've had my lawyer, send out cease and desist letters. I've never had to do the direct communication with people. If it was a situation where it was real statute, a lawyer sent me a letter. A lawyer said something. And if a lawyer sent me something, my lawyer sent something. I don't play the motherfucking games. But see, anybody who really do this shit knows that. But he thinks we're dumb. So he came after Clarissa and social media united around her and me and talked about the direct targeted violence of how he was trying to silence us for speaking out against the shit that he did that was questionable. And of course, I kept talking my shit. Fuck him. He blocked me on Twitter. I still talk my shit. I'm still talking my shit. Because at the end of the day, what I said came to fruition. A lot of the stuff I said about the North Star, a lot of stuff that I was hearing about some of the stuff that was going on behind closed doors, that shit was true. And a lot of these people got paid off, got settlements, got shit behind closed doors, but I still know and have receipts. So I don't talk about shit that I don't know about. And I think that's the problem with him, is that he thought that he could be able to intimidate me this way. And there's several activists that have experienced this type of bullying and targeting by him. And that's why when white people come to me saying, what do you think of Shaun King? Google my name, Google his name, and there you will have the receipts. Okay? Listen, when you're in this business, you beef with people. Charlamagne the God know what's good. Like, I don't fuck with Charlamagne the God. Like, me and him have had exchanges. He's a problem. And no, not just when he made me donkey of the day, right, for speaking out against Justin Timberlake, but because he has a history of homophobia and perpetuating transphobia on his show. And again, he has been someone that has tried to put on the fake woke voice of reason. And I don't know who these white people were, these white liberals that tried to act like there was something special about Charlamagne the God. They let him interview Joe Biden and people, it's just interesting what kind of black people they like to cherry pick to speak on behalf of community concerns and issues. And quite frankly, I think that they pick men, right? They pick cishet men. They pick men who are going to be toxic or who are going to be aligned with their white supremacist ways. I mean, this is a man like Shaun, a guy who was making comparisons and aligning himself or acting like he was doing a favor for Tommy Loren, okay? Or Tammy or Tommy, whatever the fuck her name is, right? So this is the type of stuff that he do. These are the type of ways where he thinks likes to be the contrarian for sport. And that's the hatred of black women on that show, The Breakfast Club, and the disrespect that often perpetuates on that show is just too much to bear. And that's why I can't even support it. But I just wanted to say all that to say that we're in some interesting times. And, you know, I just need people to start looking carefully at the people you follow and ask yourself the question, why do I follow them? Right? Am I just chasing clout? Am I really looking deep into who these people are and what concerns are raised? Anytime the mothers of slain black people and children come out in public and speak like this, it's a moment for us to take a moment to be quiet and listen and observe and learn. This is a moment for us to take a step back and say, you know what? Something's going on. I may not have the answers, all the answers, but something don't sit right. And I think that that's how I feel about this. Like, I'm not going to invalidate these black women's experiences. I'm not going to sit up here and ignore what these mothers are saying because something like this really hurts. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's something about how she's been caring. So she, you know, it's just people have been rallying for her and it's very clear what's been going on. Angela Rye has come out and supported Tamika Mallory recently, you know, in the midst of everything that's going on. And it's just interesting that all these celebrities and people are trying to rally for her. And it's clear. They're also trying to promote her book, State of Emergency, at the same time. So it's very clear that there is this pattern of these non-real activists that are using their platforms to do this. And she always does this where she plays the victim. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I've been noticing. So she put up a post that said, God never said the weapons wouldn't form. He just promised they wouldn't prosper. So she likes to invoke religious language and rhetoric to try to get support for herself. So like Yandy Smith comes out and supports her. The same types of people, Sunny and all of them come out for her. And it's the same celebrities and people that get behind her, but that's what they do. And so, you know, look at who is coming out. If you're only getting backed by celebrities and the same attention-seeking wannabe woke folk, and you're not listening to the real concerns and trauma that's happening, it's time to take a serious moment and look at what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And it's interesting that these celebrities are like literally rallying behind her, but that is how neoliberalism work. That is how capitalism work. That is how communities and movements falter and fail. Because there's people out here who has gotten caught up in the personal relationships and personal politics and have forgot the real concerns of the victims and people they should be advocating for. And so there's a quote that's by a man named Eric Hoffer that once said, every great cause begins as a movement, becomes a business, and eventually degenerates into a racket. And that's what we're seeing happen right here, right? That the great cause was a movement. But now we're seeing people become a business, LLCs and personal brands around this type of stuff. And they're capitalizing off of it, turning it into t-shirts. I mean, Tamika Mallory literally was wearing a hoodie where she had her name up against, Sojourner Truth and people of that nature. Excuse me? Really? Come on. But then, of course, like I said, it becomes a business, but then eventually degenerates into a racket. And we're getting to that point where we're in the business phase, and I feel like all this is just going to become a racket. And it's sad. It's really sad. And people can get upset, but it's real. And people can get mad at me for speaking out, but it's real. And I would encourage people to take a moment to just put your personal politics aside. And if you really care about Tamika Mallory, because I know people don't give a fuck about Shaun King at this point. And I think there's people that have done the call-ins and interventions and it has not worked with him. But I'm asking people who really care about Tamika Mallory, if you're really about public image and things of this nature, it's time to take a step back and say, listen, how you're doing this, how this is looking, how it's impacting people, it's time to pick up the phone and have some real conversations. It's time to give some apologies. It's time to really take some accountability and not play the whole, I'm going to throw religion in and act like I'm the martyr, because that's what they always do. It's the textbook way to victim blame folks have real hurt. Samira Rice is not a villain. She's a mother who was thrust into this movement because her son got killed. Put some respect on her name. Put some respect on those families. And like all these people that want to come out, these celebrities, why are you not putting that money and supporting those families? Why are you only putting the money in the organizations that's going to give you platforms like celebrities? Fuck out of here. It really makes me mad when I see people go through this type of stuff. So, last but not least, I saved this part, 2 parts. The Oscars. The Oscars are here. And the nominations, I'm going to say I like them. I like the nominations. Okay, I wasn't too happy about One Night in Miami not getting Best Director nomination for Regina King. That was a missed opportunity. But they made history. 2 women are nominated for Best Director. And I do believe that Chloe Zhao for Nomadland, which is nominated for 6 Oscars, which I told you all that Nomadland was going to be that movie, okay? Nomadland got several Academy Award nominations. It's incredible. I was very happy about the results. I was very happy about just the buzz. I mean, it was great. It was a great list. The movie Mank got the most nominations with 10, but I don't think people are really feeling that movie. I mean, it's a movie. Hollywood likes Hollywood, so it's got the most nominations. You got 10 Oscar nominations. But I don't really think it's going to really win anything. I think it's going to probably win a couple of things, but I don't think that's the excitement. But there was a lot of movies that got 6 Oscar nominations, and that is really the standout to me. The Father, which features Olivia Colman and Anthony Hopkins. Judas and the Black Messiah, which I was baffled. And we're going to talk a little bit about what happened in that category, okay? Minari, which is an Asian American movie, which is incredible, and it got nominated for 6. Nomadland, which, again, I keep telling you, I think that's going to win Best Picture, but you never know. Sound of Metal, which is a very good movie that I'm happy is getting buzz, but has Riz Ahmed, who became the first Muslim actor to get a Best Actor nomination, and including Minari also includes the Best Actor nomination for a first ever Asian American who got nominated for Best Lead Actor. Some historical nominations in the Best Actor category. The Trail of Chicago 7, which is on Netflix. Interesting movie, you should watch it. Actually, Sacha Baron Cohen got nominated for Best Supporting Actor. His first acting Oscar nomination. He was previously nominated for best adapted screenplay or best screenplay. Original screenplay for Borat. In 2006 to 2007. So it's interesting that he's back again this way. And then of course Promising Young Woman received 5 nominations. And woo! I keep telling y'all should watch Promising Young Woman. It's a very interesting movie. Carey Mulligan is giving a performance of a lifetime. That Best Actress race is really tight. So 2 women that were nominated, again, was Chloe Zhao and Emerald Fennell, which directed Promising Young Woman. And they're going against, some interesting men. And that's what happened. Some of the biggest surprises. So Best Picture, all the heavyweights I just named were nominated. Which again, I was excited. Judas and the Black Messiah was the first fully black produced film that was nominated for Best Picture. Ryan Coogler got nominated along with Shaka King and Charles King. So that's pretty awesome. They got nominated as producers. That's a pretty big damn deal. Best Director went to They already named that. Best Actor was Riz Ahmed, Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Gary Oldman for Mank, Stephen Yeun for Minari, and Anthony Hopkins for The Father. Best Actress category. Now that's the tight category, okay? Viola Davis for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Super excited for Viola. I keep telling you I want her to win. Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman, Frances McDormand in Nomadland, Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman, which is no surprise there. Shocker there, I mean. And Andra Day for The United States versus Billie Holiday. Y'all, I was shocked by that because the SAG Awards did not nominate her, but I also think that was because those nominations came before the Golden Globe win. The Golden Globes came right before the Oscar nomination stuff was submitted. So I think there was like this push that came in that boost and jolt of energy from the Golden Globes win that made it look like, she might be a front runner to get this Oscar. But something in me feels like she's not going to end up getting it because this is an actors versus actors, and I just don't see them voting for her for the performance. I think the nomination was there, but I think this is still an opportunity. So it could go down three ways. Like I said, Viola Davis, Carey Mulligan, and Frances McDormand. Frances McDormand has already won Best Actress in Leading Role 2 times already. I don't think she's going to pull it off at this point. It's great for her to be nominated. She's also nominated for producing with Chloe Zhao for Best Picture. So Chloe Zhao could win 2 Oscars, okay? I think she's going to be the second woman to ever win Best Director and the first woman of color to win Best Director for this role. I think that's a big deal. But also too, taking into effect just Nomadland in general, I could see Chloe Zhao winning 2 Oscars. I could see let me take that back. She's also nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay for Nomadland as well. So she could probably win 3 Oscars, possibly. Sacha Baron Cohen got nominated for Borat's subsequent movie film, so he's got 2 Oscar nominations because he wrote the screenplay. There was a lot of double nominees. So, for example, Shaka King got nominated for Best Original Screenplay, and he got nominated for Best Producer, Best Picture, which was a producer nomination. So there's some double sacking here, which is promising, and I think that's kind of cool. But it'd be interesting. I think the race to me is between Carey Mulligan and Viola Davis. Viola Davis already won an Oscar, but she's now the most nominated. She's the most nominated Black actress in Oscar history, 4 nominations. She's nominated for Doubt for Best Supporting Actress. She was nominated for The Help for Best Lead Actress, and she was nominated for and won Best Supporting Actress for Fences. And then she is now nominated for Best Actress for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which is a pretty big deal. She'll be the second Black actress after Halle Berry in the past 20 years, right? It's been 20 years between to win Best Lead Actress if she wins. So people really want Viola Davis to win a Lead Actress Oscar. But also, Carey Mulligan, outside of all of the other politics, has given a very interesting role in Promising Young Woman. She's gotten a lot of wins from the critics and things, and it's a really great performance. It's very buzzy, very starry. It's a very strong lead performance, and I could see her winning. People keep wanting her to win. She's never won an Oscar before. She's been nominated in the past. She was in An Education, which was a really great film. But she's been very selective about the film she's been in. She was in Suffocate with Meryl Streep. But I think this might be her opportunity. So, we'll see. So the Best Supporting Actor category, Sacha Baron Cohen got nominated for The Trial of Chicago. Paul Raci got nominated for Sound of Metal. Leslie Odom Jr. got nominated for One Night in Miami. And he also got nominated for Best Song for One Night in Miami. And shout out to her, got nominated for Best Original Song for a song she did in the Judas and the Black Messiah. But in Best Actor and Supporting Role, Best Supporting Actor, let's be clear here. What's crazy about this is that Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield both got nominated. People are shocked by this. People are shocked by this because they're like, I'm confused. This movie is called Judas and the Black Messiah. The Judas of the film, which was the lead role, was Lakeith Stanfield, who did an incredible job, okay? His very understated, very silent, his anxiety, you can feel it. You can feel this fear. He really embodied the Judas persona of this film. That's a lead role. he should have been nominated for Best Actor. Dan Kaluuya better win this award. He killed it. And he is the Black Messiah. He is the supporting role. That's just how I looked at it. But the Oscars is interesting because unlike other award shows, you can't just only campaign in categories. There's no category setting. People can nominate people for different categories, and it's in a ranking order based on nominations. So, like, basically, people could have nominated Lakeith for Best Lead Actor, but he didn't get enough nominations to, votes to get it. So then basically he fell out of the tier. So he could have been number 6, but didn't get the 5. But then for Best Supporting Actor, there was probably a bunch of people that nominated for that category. Because let's be clear, the award shows, right, unlike Grammys, you can submit people in categories. For this, people campaign for categories. But what you campaign for don't dictate what you get nominated for. So I know that the campaign around Judas and the Black Messiah, right, their team, the movie team, their campaign was like, we're going to push for Lakeith for Best Lead Actor and Dan Kaluuya for Best Supporting Actor. But voters, at the Academy and the people in the Academy, like actors do actors, directors do directors. That's how the Academy works. They break it down in categories. They can do what the hell they want to do. For example, Kate Winslet, but see, this is an interesting situation. Historically, it was a situation where folks would say, you're supporting, so you should go to a supporting role. I mean, you should go to most people will do, they'll put a supporting role in a leading role, but they'll never put a leading role in a supporting role. So what I mean by that is that historically, for example, Kate Winslet was being campaigned as Best Supporting Actress in The Reader. But the Academy said, you're going to be a lead actress. We're going to bump you to lead actress. And she actually won, which was kind of dope. I was really happy for her because she was killing that year. That was the same year Revolutionary Road came out, and I just loved Kate Winslet in it. I'm a big Kate Winslet fan. The other situation that could actually arose too is that, like, they did this with a movie called Well Rider, where Keisha Castle Knight, I think her name is, I'm getting the other Keisha confused, but I think it's Keisha Castle Hughes, the actress. She's a very young actress, and was nominated for Best Lead Actress for Well Rider, and this is like back in 2003. But she was going for a supporting role, but they just nominated for a lead role, and she's one of the youngest actresses to be nominated for lead actress, which was a big deal. But to take a situation where a person's in a lead role and put them in supporting role is really weird. However, I would say that, I don't know what happened with the Academy, but I was always thinking, I mean, the Oscar campaign for Viola Davis put her in a supporting role. Historically, that role of Mary in, Fences has always been a lead role. Like, Viola Davis won Best Lead Actress in a play and became the second Black actress to win Best Actress in a play following Phylicia Rashad for A Raisin in the Sun. She won for Fences a couple years later. She should have been technically a lead actress nominee, but I think they didn't want her to go against Emma Stone, who won for La La Land and was very unstoppable. So she just got put in the supporting actress campaign, which is interesting. It's interesting how the politics are. But a lot of times people do this based on, choices. It's based on politics of ways to win. And Viola Davis did win. I mean, it was a really good play for her. But all politics, politics are very interesting. You know what I'm saying? It's a very interesting dynamic. So no, Viola Davis's character wasn't Mary. It was Rose Lee Mac's son. And so her character is Rose in the film. That was always a leading type of character. And even in previous Broadway Tony iterations, that was always considered a lead role. So it's very interesting how that played out. So last but not least, before I get into some other thoughts, Best Actress Supporting Role, Maria Bakalova, who is Bulgarian, got nominated for Borat subsequent movie film, which is interesting. The Rudolph Giuliani scene is probably one of the biggest moments in movies in the past year. Amanda Seyfried, Yoon Jong-un from Minari, Olivia Colman for The Father, and who else? Glenn Close for Hillbilly Elegy. Just the fact that Glenn Close is nominated, this is her moment. I was shocked like you are when, Jodie Foster won Best Supporting Actress in a movie that didn't even get any Oscar nominations, but got all the buzz at the Golden Globes. shout out to the Oscars for nominating some really great actresses. There was a push initially from Amanda Seyfried. They thought that she was going to be the push, and people still think she might have a chance. I don't see Olivia Colman winning this. I think that people are like, Olivia Colman out. I mean, The Crown, she won for. I mean, she's always playing British characters. In this film, she's not playing a British royalty, I mean. But she was in, she won Best Actress and took it from, Glenn Close in The Favorite. And, it was a great role, but okay. I just really think this could be an opportunity that Glenn Close can get it. I don't think the rest of these actresses in these roles are that competitive. I mean, people really like Maria Bakalova, but I really think that there may be a sympathy vote for Glenn Close to finally get it. And Hillbilly Elegy only got 2 nominations, Best Hair and Makeup, which of course a lot of that is based on Glenn Close's performance and her transformation into, playing Mama. And I thought she killed it. And I'm so happy that she got this nomination. I'm really happy that in spite of all of the hate towards this movie, and yes, there's some legitimate hate against JD in real life, but in this moment, I really am happy she's nominated, and I really want her to pull through. Okay? Let's go, Glenn Close. Predictions of who I think is going to win these things. Best Actor is going to definitely go to Chadwick Boseman. I don't see Chadwick. He's going to posthumously win it. I think it's his to win. Best Actress in Leading Role. The fight is going to be between Viola Davis and Carey Mulligan. I ain't going to put nothing in that. Best Actor in Supporting Role. It's going to be Daniel Kaluuya, y'all. And if they don't give it to him, it's going to be fucked up. Best Actress Supporting Role. I'm going to say Glenn Close is edging it, but don't sleep on Amanda Seyfried. I think she might pull it off for Mank. But Mank is just such a dry movie. It's a black and white movie. It's about Hollywood. It's a Netflix film. It's just so white. Gary Oldman is tired. Like, it's just such a white film. And I just think the Oscars, we're over this era with them. So, but then again, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, they love a movie about themselves. Hollywood loves a movie about Hollywood. So, we'll see. Best Director, I think Chloe Zhao is going to win. And the Oscars, y'all, is going to be next month. So, we'll talk about this more. Into the hottest tea that kind of came across my desk. What the fuck is going on with Brad Pitt? Oh my God. I'm shook here. Angelina Jolie, okay, Angie, okay, when it was Brangelina back in the day, claims she has tea, okay, the proof or alleged domestic violence against Brad Pitt. The new court documents have revealed. These documents that were under seal, back in March, says that she is claiming and she's alleging that she's offered to provide proof and authority against Pitt regarding her claim of domestic violence during her upcoming divorce trial. This has been a nasty divorce. And she's been very quiet about some of this. But she found another document under the seal under the same day regarding testimony of their minor children. Okay, they have 6 children together. Some of them are adopted. Maddox, who is now 19. Pax, that is 17. Zaharia, which is 16. Shiloh, who's 14. They got twins, Knox and Vivian, who's 12. They have 6 kids. And it's been interesting how the coverage has been. People are saying that she's changing the narrative when it suits her. There's just a lot of people trying to dismiss what she's saying. He was cleared of allegations of child abuse by the FBI back in 2016 when they investigated. It's been some interesting stuff. But all I got to say is this is a mess. This is a mess. This is a mess. And before I wrap up, can someone tell Sharon Osbourne to shut the fuck up? Please shut up, Sharon. Please be quiet, Sharon Osbourne. Please, please, please. You've been showing your ass for the past week trying to defend a fucking racist who ain't saying nothing for you. Piers Morgan did not need you to defend him. Justice for Sharon Underwood. Okay, the disrespect that she's gotten. This show, The Talk, is now on hiatus right now and being suspended right now because they're trying to look into Sharon Osbourne's allegations. Each day, new stuff is coming out. Calling, Julie Chen a wonton, apparently, slanty eyes. What the fuck? What are you doing, Sharon? Girl. And she acting like she's set up, y'all, because she wanted to sit up and tell a black woman, okay, on national television about don't sit there, don't cry, being really nuck if you buck. And listen, Holly Pete was trying to tell y'all, listen, the black host that used to be on The Talk was talking about some of the stuff around how Sharon Osbourne was acting around, just being racist and stuff. And she was trying to say that she never, Holly P. Robinson was trying to tell y'all, okay, when she was on there, how stuff was. And then, Sharon Osbourne, she never used the term ghetto. They done found footage of her saying ghetto. Child, you better go take you some several seats, girl. You better go mind your business. You better go somewhere and sit down. So I just want people to know that. I just had that to say on the table. That's my tea, and that's what I'm sticking with, okay? So until then, people, stay woke, stay well-read, stop anti-Asian violence, stop anti-Asian hate. Just be great, okay? That's all. Be best. Take care. Ernestly Speaking is recorded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. To stay up to date with the latest on the show, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Mr. Ernest Owens. Use the hashtag Ernestly Speaking to tell me what you thought about this episode, and check out my website at ernestowens.com.